Hello, hello. Happy Friday, August 8th, 2025. For a second there, I almost said 2015. Boy, wouldn't that be something? Um, Happy Friday. Who do we got? Who do we got in the chat today? Yeah, a couple of usual suspects. Hans, hi, how are you? Good afternoon. I hope you're well, I know you're feeling just as just as rough as you probably were a half an hour ago when I talked to you, or an hour ago, whatever it was. Went last night to go. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Oh, well, don't try not to take the day off, rest of the day off or something. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. Lisa and I went over to the local Best Buy last night, and in anticipation of grabbing. If you fall asleep during the stream, it's nothing personal. I would be happy if you got some rest. I really would be. So we got over to the Best Buy. We got there. We looked at I pretty much decided what I'm going to get. Lisa could have actually was going to order it, but she wanted to wait and make sure that that's exactly what the machine I wanted was the machine I was going to get. And we got there, and if you haven't seen the new MacBook in sky blue, it is something. It is very pretty, and they didn't have any in stock. They had some in stock yesterday afternoon, and by the time we got there, they were all sold out because they had a very attractive price on it. It was $200 off the list, and I'm sure it was by far the best color. They have a new, I forget what they call it. It's a dark, kind of a dark black, but it's got kind of like a purpley sheen to it. It's very interesting. I almost went with that, but they said, well, we can, if you pay for it, we can ship it to your house. It'll be there by Saturday. Yeah, so we ordered it. Now, of course, what we're nervous about is this is the first time this ever happened to us. We had an Amazon order that came in, gosh, when was it? Monday, maybe. And I know it was a Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. It came in, and I was upstairs, and of course, they don't ring the doorbell, and I wouldn't even know they were there. And it arrived like an hour before Lisa got home, and somebody stole the package before I even got a chance to look outside. So I'm like, of course, tomorrow we're both going to be here. We'll know when it comes. So I guess we have to be a little bit more vigilant. But I thought, you know what? At first, I was like, well, you know what? I just get the other one. We're here. Let's just get this over with. We're going to put a little sign up to ring the doorbell. Not that they're ever going to, listen to it. I don't know. A rocking chair and a shotgun. There are actually several chairs and no shotguns. Oh, the video doorbell ring? No, I don't have one of those. No, I don't. I thought about upgrading to something like that. A ring doorbell, yeah. I thought about upgrading to something like that. I just never got around to it. Never got around to it, and maybe I need to do it now. And I'm normally here when most of the packages get here, the UPS and the mail. It all happens before streaming. Jason, good afternoon. How are you? Thank you for your help. It's easy and not difficult. Yeah, went to your old apartment and took it. Well, I took it with you when you moved. Okay. Forgot to do the greetings upon arrival. That's all right. So I'm looking at this kind of this black finish that they have, and I thought, well, that's not too bad. But then I remember I've had this last laptop for 10 years, and I'm gonna have to look at this for at least. I'm gonna have it for at least 7 or 8. I want to like it. And I had the I forget what they called the last one. It was kind of like a charcoal, but it was supposed to be the big deal when it came out. It was the new cool color. If charcoal gray is space gray or something, I think it was what it was called. If that can be a cool color, I don't really know. But it didn't really age well. I mean, it's okay, it's fine. Um, but yeah, I wanted this guy. When I saw the sky blue, I said I have to have it because they have the charging cable is kind of a nice matching light sky blue. I mean, it's Apple does things Apple's way, and um, it's hard not to like. And whether you like them or not, I love them. They make life easy for me. Uh, you know, I've done the Windows. I mean, I was a Windows Server administrator for a long time, so I'm not completely immune to what the other side of the camp is, but I just like that I don't have to worry about anything. I don't just don't and to have I never would have had a Windows laptop for 10 years. It just never would have happened, you know. So anyway, we ordered it. It'll be here tomorrow, which is good because my laptop must have known today because it was acting funky today. Um, while I was working on stuff, and Jason already knows. If there's anybody else in the chat that got my email, uh, do check out whatever you want to take a look at today. So, because I'd like to. Laptop Funk is bad funk. Yeah, yeah. That's a song. I think that needs to be a song. Maybe Tower of Power or Nils Landgren Funk Unit. We should do a funk day. We should do a funk day. Yeah. A song and probably also is probably a t-shirt for sure. For sure. T-shirt. Laptop funk you up. There we go. There we go. Jason's on top of it today. All right. So yeah, so that's coming tomorrow. Went through the final run of things today because we are like, oh, we should check. We should check what make sure we have everything ready for next week. Like, do we have packing tape? No. Oh, no, we don't. We've got like one roll of packing tape. Like, that's not gonna last. Um, do we have all the right size bags? No, we don't have all the right size. I have like 3 bags that are the larger size that I pack my pen flush in. Um, so it was kind of funny because we're going through and like, do we have this? Do we have that? Like, literally, I'm getting I ordered a new postal scale because the one I have doesn't read. Like, enough's enough. We got to get rid of it. The postal scale's coming today, but yeah, good stuff. And doing some real fun work for next Friday, a week from today. It's going to be. So probably, I'm guessing that means we're not going to stream next Friday. Mark your calendars. Y'all, if you've all already emailed me and given me your email address, you're already in the system. You'll get an email. Emails will be sent out on Tuesday with all the pertinent details about next Friday. And we are shooting for, and if it changes, it'll be in the email. But right now, we're shooting for 1:30 p.m. on Friday. So that is 1:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I guess we're still on Daylight Time. So Central Time, 1:30 to go live or thereabouts. And we are hoping that is going to be the normal weekly time. So we should all try to order it the same second on Friday. Yeah, well, so what I'm going to do is I've given 6 of you, and at least 2 of them are in the chat that I can see, access to the website today. I'm not telling anybody what the site is, but and then as soon as those 6 people have concluded their testing and whatever they want to acquire first off, I'm gonna turn the site off. Concert tickets or sneakers, yeah. I'm going to turn the site off just put it in maintenance mode um, until we're ready. Because I've already got some, Jason's giving me some really great feedback. Thank you so much. Some of it I can fix, some of it I have no clue. So I'm gonna do my darndest to get everything cooking as best we can, as best we can. But we have a cool. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I have a really cool new thing set up. And we talked about this. I think the tech nerds in here. We talked about this several weeks back. I finally got it set up so when an order comes out, when an order comes into the system, it automatically prints on my. In this case, it's going to print on my label printer, which is a 4x6 Dymo 4XL label writer. I wasn't keen on printing on labels because they're more expensive than paper, but I couldn't get my receipt printer to work because the Mac driver for the iMac that I have doesn't include the auto cutter, which means I would have to cut it manually, or rip it, and it didn't work. I tested it, it just didn't work. And I said, you know what? Well, I can get it. I partnered with this app that plugs into my website, and they redesigned my template for me. They kind of shrunk it up a little bit. Yeah, labels purchased in large quantities are close to paper in cost, and then we don't have to deal with toner cartridges, and I also don't have to deal with trying to relocate my laser printer because right now it is not in the same area. Uh, yeah, one label for invoice, one label for shipping label. And quite honestly, if the order is long enough that it goes onto a second label, that's probably usually going to be worth printing for those extra couple of cents. But I've got an automation set up so when the order comes in, it immediately prints to the printer and it prints it out, and so that definitely works, and it's definitely not loud, it just is beautiful. And it seems stupid, but I no longer have to check. The orders come in. The only thing I'll do is at the end of the day, after I'm done shipping, I will verify that there's nothing that we haven't missed that didn't accidentally not get printed. And if, uh, not the label, because the label will still be printing the shipping label will still be kind of a manual process, only because we do try for Midwestern states, so Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, usually. Sometimes the package is much cheaper depending on weight if it ships in a box versus a flat rate envelope. So it's like a 2-second check, which one is cheaper, and then we manually adjust it. So, and also you just never know if it's a bottle of ink and an A4 notebook, it's got to go in one box. But if it's a bottle of ink and a pen that comes in a box, then it's got to go in another type of box. So there's different. It's not an exact science, unfortunately. When you have, right now we've got, I don't know, 3,000 SKUs. We used to have almost 8,000. If I sold 5 products, I could do it that way, and that would happen. But just having the order print out automatically is beautiful. It's just beautiful because you're cooking along and it's a little inspiration too. Hey, look, we got an order. You get the notice on your phone or your watch or whatever, and that's fine. But when it prints out, you can just pull it off right away. Boom, get it going. See if you can ship it, and and get it out the door. So, it's cool. It's cool. I wish we would have done it before, but um, now's a great time to redo some of those things. So, anyway, that is that. What do we have today? I got a package in the mail today from the Desk Set Emporium. I actually didn't even look at the label. Is it labeled Desk Set Emporium? I didn't check. But we have a couple things from that box that we are going to be playing with today. Playing with, I will say, Lisa was not exactly happy at the contents of the package. Um, but when I sell them, she will be happy because otherwise, I mean, how am I ever going to sell that stuff? But true desk set Emporium products. All right. Let's take a look at what we got today. This is where we left off yesterday. This guy we're going to let sit. We got the extra. I hope this is the last. This should be the last round of a filler on this. We'll let that shrink in for over the weekend at least. You're delighted that they're no longer in your closet. Yeah. And here are two of them right here. But I mean, I seriously do. I mean, we had in that Esserbook collection, there were a solid 20% of all the pens were desk pens. I mean, you know, it wasn't like it was 10, it was 5, you know, and there was 20%. And so if I can't move those, that's 20% of that money that, I mean, it was a lot of it was a lot of money. 20% of that was a lot of money. So, I'm happy. It'll be when we get around to the, pick the absolute nicest desk pens for the bases. You could be super selective. I could be. Yeah, I could be. I'm also trying to do, I agree. I'm also trying to do, like, I'll do better nibs. You know, on Dipless, you don't have much, you don't have, you know, Dipless, you know, that's what you get, you know. So do better nibs, but I also like to have some that are less affordable, less costly. So, you know, a price range, you know, maybe black is not the most attractive color. So, you know, maybe this one just ends up being a little bit less, and it's more affordable. And, you know, someone wants to try it out and they can put it on their desk. You know, maybe the green is a nicer color. Um, you know, or you put the better nib on the black set. You know, user grade, boring color. All right. You know, so when we get around to the desk sets, and unfortunately there is so less affordable pens, fountainpens.com. That's a clip if I ever saw one. When we get around to the desk pens, which I sadly is not going to happen in time for launch, we've just really had to keep, the last 2 weeks have been kind of like it's a moving target. Like, okay, well, I got maybe a dozen more pens up on the website this morning. And you know, that's what it is going to be what it is. And then, you know, we have those ready. So as soon as, you know, my daughter gets some stuff done, but she's working on, some of the stuff for the podcast, which once it's done, you know, it's done. You know, she's already, you know, she got the intro all set, boom, done. It'll be great. We don't ever have to do it again. So she'll have some free time. But I did it again. So, but you got to get that done. And I said, well, listen, just, you know, if you can get around to completing some more of the consignment pens, you know, toward the end of the week, then great. If not, you know, no big deal. We've got 500 and who knows how. So there's actually just a very large excess of vintage pens that we haven't shot yet. So, but you know, like I mean, it's a complete first world problem. And like I joked yesterday, I have nowhere to put these things. I'm literally out of. I've used every single um, pen folio I have. So. All right. You had to show some restraint. I'll get that stuff pulled tonight. It should go out tomorrow. So now I can test the shipping component because I'm actually using a different shipping app than I used to. So we're gonna see if we can get this guy open. I doubt it, but maybe we will. If not, I'm gonna let it soak. I never let this particular pen soak for a very long time, so Jason did get to do an order. He bought everything, so there's really nothing left. No, this isn't coming open. I remember all the frustration I had with this pen the last time I tried to open it. Oh, let me see. Gotta take care of something here. I wanted to get that pen open because it's got a white feed on it. Okay. So these are just going to end up, I don't know, I got to find a home for these. This, let's see, where can we put this? Excuse me a second. I got to turn the air on in here. It's like brutally hot today. In fact, Lisa and I went for a walk this morning early because we knew it was just going to be too hot. I mean, it's still, you know, mid 80s at like 8 o'clock at night, and it's just too hot, you know. Um, so anything, you know. So we tried. We went this morning. It was like 83. It was still way too hot. All right. So I thought for today, what we would do, we try to keep the heat gun to a minimum. We got some M2s. Spicy miso. How you doing? My back is much better. Yeah. Got a couple of those. Let's see. That's. These two have stickers on them. Actually, you know what we're going to do? Now that I got you all excited about that. Trust me, you never want gallstone or kidney stone back pain? Yeah, I don't want any kind of pain. No pain for this guy. All right. So, first of all, so we had this guy sitting in here just to test the naphtha overnight to see if that was going to be safe, because these other two are just not opening up. I don't see any problems whatsoever on this. In the naphtha. Yeah, yeah. I may try that as the next round because it's so frustrating, especially when I've gotten the other, 9 of these pens done. Of course, that one I'm gonna have to heat up. It doesn't want to open. Yeah, that's the trick, right? The new one's got to come apart. The new one's got to come apart. Of course, it's got the sticker on it. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? It is a minor miracle. And here I am back at the heat. I just don't like this at all. They're considered Ackerman inks well behaving. Well, they're made by Diamine, so yes. Yeah. Oh, SBRE Brown. Yeah, that's decent. We used to carry that. Hmm. Yeah, and someone's ragging on me for not having colorful inks. Just kidding. What? Oh, come on. There's another color. I need one of these guys to open. Swear to God, the day I meet you, I'm going to have the brightest color in my hand and gift it to me. Oh my God. And if you do that, I will use it. You tried liking black, but each time you still see it, still reminds you of school. Time to fill it up with some more silicone. It's getting kind of hard to squish out. You find a nice brown ink and a black pen to be kind of classy. You know, I always liked Schaefer Brown because it reminds me of Cheryl Tyree. And one of the first letters she wrote to me after repairing some of my pens, and I like, wow, that's a great looking ink. It looks like she wrote the letter, 50 years ago. All right, well, we got that cooking. That's good. I still can't get any of these stinking nib units apart. So we're going to try soaking one. Faber-Castell Cognac. Yeah, that's a nice ink too. All right, well, that's that for those guys. I don't know. I did get the pleasure of combining two bottles of Waterman Mysterious or Waterman Black today. So I got rid of one more bottle off my desk. Waterman Tender Purple was second ink you ever bought ever since the day of the Yeah. Fuzzy, how are you? Happy Friday. Like some tape or something on this guy. I think we're just going to soak this whole barrel. Wow, this is disgusting. Well, I'm afraid to see what's going to happen here. This doesn't feel right. So the whole thing stayed put. Mm. Inside the barrel. I don't know what this is stuck on. Well, this one might not be. Cooked anyway. Figure that out later. McPenthusiast, hello, how are you? I have no idea what Cosmo Air Light is. Today we are looking at some Estabrook M2s and a couple of dipless sets, courtesy of the Desk Set Emporium. These are some pretty nasty looking pens, actually. Using a Lisa and Brian notebook with a bicycle. Nice. The tandem. Yamamoto Canopus. Campus? Is that the campus notebook? Depends. I've got a green olive color palette almost exactly. Yeah, this olive green is kind of a cool color. It's a very late 50s. Yeah, a rooful's nice. I've got somewhere around here. I've got a anyone have a refrigerator that color green? Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? I used to have a pad of a rooful. Oh, there it is. I've been looking for this. If anybody knows what that is, get bragging points. I have a McPenthusiast. Is that the one? It's where can that make a comeback in a new shot? It can. Um, it's very labor intensive. Believe it or not, it's a lot of work to produce because you can't just produce these. You do in sets of twos, and then you cut them, and you can't. Um, you can't just do. Even if you can't just do two, you've got to do like a minimum, maybe 10 or 12 at a time, which means I got to print this many and hope that nothing goes wrong. Because what happens if eventually, remember the make your own damn paper experience. Make your own damn paper. Yeah, yeah. Because in order to pad them, we need to have a stack. It's got to be a big stack because you can't just do that. Could it make a comeback while you remain remarried and are saying that is a highly probability of something going wrong? I will express interest in them, but I don't. it's yeah, it's we need space and we don't have space. That's one of the factors is you really need a big table and a place to put the padding press and then the cutter and the printer and uh, once it's up and running, it's pretty good because you can fill in, you can pad any number. You can do two of these and then you can do two of those and two of those, two of those. This one people didn't like all that much apparently. Two of those. Couple of those. This one's discontinued. That one. And then there's that one. There's that one. Why not have a Brian comic face with I only write in black and blue? Yeah. Yeah, isn't that nice? Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. So, but what I meant, I was actually looking for, I've got somewhere, I don't know where it is. I don't think it's in that drawer. I got a whole bunch of stuff in another drawer in my filing cabinet. I should look in there more often. Um, you should find some old fountain pen patent diagrams to put at the top. Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of ideas. It's the whole process. It's really, and you got to make sure not to overheat the printer. And, I mean, we've had industrial printers before. Dutch bikes, yeah. Yeah, I just opened the bottom drawer of my file cabinet and there's like pen rolls in there. And I think there's a missing a pair of glasses I forgot about. What else is it? What that? 10 points if anybody knows what this is. And this is pen related. 10 points. Bragging points. Got a joke book in there. Parker Aztec at the back. No. It is not a cloth towel. Got a little something right there in the corner, if you can see that. That. This is a. I won't leave you in suspense, since nobody knows this. This was a handkerchief that came with. I forget exactly which one, but Parker Dual Fold, and it's got the Parker logo right there in the corner. Anybody remember those? Joke book in there. This came from Susan Worth. This apparently was in her house. Printing is such a pain. I have to print projects frequently for design school. And thankfully, the university provides a variety of printers, but it's still so expensive. Plus, you always have to print multiple times because it's a game of trial and error to get it right. Yeah. Sell it, retire in luxury. Anyway, I bet no one's got one of these. Anybody have one of these lying around? I've got a number of these that I saved. I don't know what paper they used. Um, I guess it's 14 years old, isn't it? I've only written on a couple of pages in these. I probably have 4 or 5 of these, but got the logo and then the grid on each page. Well, apparently here I did a Naginata Togi test. But it's blank on the back. Kind of see. And not bad. Not bad for show through on that. Considering this is Naginata Togi medium. 100th anniversary. You collected all the pilot 100th anniversary stuff and never got the sailor stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I've got all the little many of the little brochures and stuff that came in. But yeah, this came in and this we actually got these after the fact. But I've got a number of them. Well, not too many. I've got 4, and one of them is missing the cover. So the cover fell off of this one. Another 95 years and 100th anniversary stuff might be collectible. Yeah, right. Thank goodness for Sailor being 8 years ahead of the game for everybody else. This though was our bottle opener for many years. This was stupid design, right? But it works. Bought it at the Chicago Museum store. Not at the museum. No, I'm saying not the museum store. The Architecture Society store. If you've ever been there, it's a pretty cool store. But it works great. It's got a little magnet here. Pop your beer, and it automatically sticks on there. Yeah, I'm going to use this later tonight. All right. how to not repair pens without repairing pens? Look through Brian's drawer. Actually, I was going in there because I thought I had some Arofo, but I had 2 tester pads of it from the old store, and I don't know what happened to them. They're around somewhere. But yeah, I got pen loops, pen wraps in there. I got one that my mother-in-law made for me. That Tasha one that everybody wants since they discontinued it. The bottle opener explains the 3 pens per day average. Yeah. Yeah, it sure does. Give you the truth. Yeah, that was kind of our. That's really funny that I found that. Um, we had that sitting on the outside of our fridge at the old store, and so it was ready to go on Fridays. And Dave was over here was it last week, I think? Last Thursday? And we were talking about it. Like, I don't know where that thing went. I got it somewhere. I got a feeling Lisa's probably not going to allow me to put it on the fridge at home, so. Explains 3 something per day average. So the one thing you got to look out for on M2s are the fact that the threading on here is separate from the cap. So what happens is from time to time is this maybe gets pushed in further than it should, causes stress on the cap, and you'll find hairline cracks up the back of the cap or in the front or anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is, but you'll find hairline cracks in the cap. So that's what you got to look for on these guys. And sometimes it'll even go so far as to see the pen with this completely pulled out and resting on your barrel threads. And it looks like, this pen's got metal threads, but that's not the case. So you kind of got to look them over. It's a real weak spot of the cap. The whole pen, actually. The sacks are actually like really quite excellent. They're kind of like, they're not plaglass, but they're kind of like the 51 aerometric in a way that like they don't really go bad. They're either good or they're not, and it's pretty readily available when they're not good. Get a mini fridge for the shipping department, put it there. The main fridge is going to be like 10 feet away, so don't really have to worry too much about that. I think I'm just going to hold these in the ultrasonic for a minute and spin them out. They usually have pretty tight clips, so we got to be careful with that, but they're just kind of a fun, real late Esterbrook production. I have not announced the name publicly. It will happen on Tuesday. If you are on the mailing list. If you don't know if you're on the mailing list, send me an email up here with the email you wish to make sure I check or include, and you'll get the notification. Oh, we're getting down to the wire. I sent my daughter the list of last minute things for the next 7 days. And she's doing a bang up job. She really is. Um, so if you're listening, which I'm sure you're not, you're doing a bang up job. Get back to work. But how many videos will I have at launch? They look great so far. Well, so here's the problem. We shot we shot 30. But it was getting a little bit, and that included a combination of shorts and full length videos. But there was no way that we were going to get those all done and get everything else done. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Yeah, yeah. Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that there was a short for every version of one of the long form videos. But what we couldn't do is we couldn't really take a snippet out of the long form video. So we did shorts on their own, which didn't take too long. But after we started getting into it, I finally said, you know what, we got a lot of other stuff we got to do. You know, I got to get the mailer ready. We got to get the what do you call them, artifacts, I guess, for the website. You know, for the podcast. And I want to make sure that that first one, you know, goes off real nice and it's pretty. So we shot a couple more videos. So basically what we have, yeah, just quicker. Yeah. Okay. You know, we also did, we did a little bit differently. So what we did is we did a lot of videos on filling systems. Button fill, lever fill, vacuumatic, touchdown, snorkel, you know, and all that stuff. But in the long form video, I'm explaining things, da 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 da. In the short form video, we're just filling a pen, you know. So, you know, it was really a different thing. I'm gonna drop that whole barrel in there. It's got some tape or something on it. So we have, you know, we had the little segment on the home page with recent videos. I just said, listen, just give me 4 so I can fill that up, and then, you know. And let's get moving on to something else. But we've got, you know, like I say, we've got a bunch in the can, and so there'll be no shortage of things for my daughter to work on. And I don't know if I mentioned this. I am going to put the Twitch streams up on our new YouTube channel. Instead of, because even at affiliate, you only get 14 days worth of videos. So, but they can go up on the YouTube channel for those that don't, you know, get around to watching Twitch all that often. Or if you want to go back and reference something, it'll be there. But I'm having my daughter trim out the first, you know, the starting soon part. Trim it down to, you know, 5 seconds or something, and then there's no reason to have 5 minutes of staring at the same screen. So initially I wanted to have the filling system videos I was going to put on the vintage product pages. So if I'm selling a Vacuumatic or a 51 vac, then there would be a video um, how to fill it on that page. And I just, with the sheer massive number of vintage pens and lack of time, it is not going to happen. What's the new YouTube? It'll be announced on Tuesday. 5 minutes of coming soon as part of the Twitch experience. During the starting soon, you should have a background conversation ongoing about something else. All right, Fuzzy, have a great weekend. I hope it's a cool weekend. I don't know what the weather's like here, but 83 degrees at 8 o'clock? No, thank you. I am looking forward to the new podcast intro, though. So, Spicy, make sure you send me an email. Make sure at least you get the info. Just email me up here. Because there won't be a stream, a Twitch stream on Fridays. Actually starting, this will be the last one, actually. Not that there's never going to be one, but if we did it, it would have to be either earlier, which is not likely. Your email's been sent. Great. I'll take a look at it after this evening and this weekend. Morning's usually devoted to shipping and receiving. And then podcasts will be at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Then after that, again, my thought is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably pretty soon going forward. Remember, WIMP is still available for your store. Yeah. Although I suspect, I'm not really, before I could leave work at the store. Now I'm sort of at it all the time. So there may be a possibility that I'll be, if I do things on Saturdays and Sundays that I used to do on Mondays, then maybe I can do a Monday stream because Mondays won't be so busy. I might be so excited to repair pens that you can't help but stream 5 days. Yeah, that's possible. I'm really trying to figure out a better way to keep my pens, because right now they're all in order in binders. So I know, the first one is number one, the second one is number two, et cetera, and so forth and so on. But once I start pulling those out, it's not going to have a cohesive order. And what I wanted to avoid was having to print out. We've done all sorts of things in the past. We used to put, I used to put little labels that had strings on them, which is annoying, because then I would, I'd have to write with a special pen. Only a certain pen would write on there. And then the labels would get tangled up with each other, and it was really kind of a nightmare. So I stopped doing that, and I decided it was easier to print a spreadsheet with all of the pens, and then I could cut it up into little slices, and then I could fit the slice in the tray, right? And then if I sold things, I could just move the piece of paper and the pen over, and then everything was always in line. I didn't want to do that for 500 pens. So, and then you've got the case of, if you've got it in a tray somewhere, what happens? Heaven forbid you actually accidentally trip over the tray, or you bump it, and then the pens jump up and get mixed up. Yeah, we're going to start doing on Fridays. We're going to start doing a weekly podcast, Lisa and I. So kind of like what we used to, but a little bit different. Season 2, as it were. Is I forget who said that. That was really great. I like that idea. I can't use it, but internally I can use it. There might be some jokes involved too. I don't know. Let's see. But the problem with the pens is sometimes you've got, I did like 10 black pens in a row. Well, that was a mistake, because sometimes they're almost identical. And in fact, in one case, well, actually, believe it or not, in over 500 pens, we only had one instance where I had two pens of the exact same model with the exact same nib that were next to each other. And it was like a black J with, I can't remember, it was 1551 nib maybe. Two in a row. And lo and behold, it did get screwed up in photography. For pen storage, have you seen Best Craft Organizer? No, I have not. Who makes that? Will the podcast be live or pre-recorded? You remember the chat being fun in the old days? Yeah, so what we've decided is, for the most part, because we're going to try to limit the amount of work that... Yeah, go ahead, post a link. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to try to eliminate as much work as possible that our daughter has to do, since she has to do other stuff, and she's probably technically not going to be working full time. She'll be working mostly full time and up to that, but when you record it, then you got all sorts of, then it takes like a day to work on it. If you do it live, you just hit the button. She does a little bit of prep work, and that's it. So live just seems to be the way to go. Let's see what we got here. Whoops. That ain't it. Oh. This one here. Big one. I wish these would change color with, I don't like the white. That frosty chestnut's not bad. The double and triple are perfect for ink bottles. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I kind of like these, this must be the frosty chestnut here. That's quite lovely. They've even included all the accessory trays, half trays, and grids. Okay, so they come with some of this stuff, which is pretty much useless to most of us. Look at that. They got like, kind of like a turquoise tray. Pop-up wastebasket. Pop-up wastebasket. What's that look like? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah. You just like the white too, that's why I have them in your closet. I can send a photo of one in action. When I bought them, you could get them in any color as long as it was white. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what purchase my wife would be happy I made. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty neat. What else they got? I like that 3. Oh, this one. This one's cool. Bar height. See, this is what we need. Hans, we need this. So that we can have our craft beer and look at pens. But it should be a 3. We should have a 3 wide here or something. Should you go take a photo? Yeah, sure, why not? Wow, that's cool. Given the bottle opener, perhaps you should avoid bar height cabinets in your workspace. That's neat, though. I like that. What has it got to be the lowest price here? Drawers, paper shelves. Storage talk. Yeah, I mean, look at this. I don't know. I'm thinking here. There's a configuration tool. Okay. I'm thinking like what a great little shipping table this could be. Right? I mean, you put your packing tape and your package your little small baggies and stuff in there. Maybe got a little drawer for, I don't know, what do they got in there? Let me see. What the heck is that? Who needs that many pens? I kind of like this bar height one though. Not a sucker for IKEA container store vibes. This is like, this is good standing height. Although she must be really short. I mean, look how high is that? 42.25 inches. Okay, so a little over 3.5 feet. I don't need any of this stuff. Why am I looking at this? Craft room rehab. I'm in painting storage cabinet kits. All right, so this one's not huge, right? Definitely that. You can wheel these around. Short models to scam consumers. Fabric storage tower. Stamp case tower. Oh my goodness, we don't need that. Craft island. Is that sort of like, that's like your countertop. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. This is exactly the same thing. Yeah. Neat. That's cool stuff. Go on HGTV with this. Yeah, I really miss I miss our shipping table setup and our we had nice setup of tables, and I almost cried the day we got rid of like a bunch of the tables. Now we got most of our tables from the Habitat for Humanity restore. So we got them for a really good deal. We got our money's worth out of them, but they were solid. Almost ready. The photo's great. They were solid tables, um, durable, sturdy. They're not cheap, cheaply made, and when we had to sell them, I know there were a couple in particular. I was like, oh man, we're never gonna find another one. For the $50 that we sold them for. Here we go. Here we go. Japan oversized. Japan modern. Nibs. I would look in the nibs section for those gaskets you're looking for. Pencils and ballpoints. You've got a whole tray for pencils and ballpoints. 380 pens per side. 760 total. Boxed pens. Oh, that's cool. It's high and it's big enough to fit boxed pens. Japan pre-war. That's the one we want to see. Pilot Super. Yeah, we want to see that too. So you got an IKEA cube. Oh, I see. And then you slot this whole ivory thing slots right into the cube. And then you cut your gray liner to fit in there. That's a nice looking tray. What is this monstrosity here? Yeah, the gold pen trays. Yeah. This looks nice. This gray one here with the band. This one in the back. That looks nice. Is that a gnome walking cane? Yeah, it's a fountain pen. I like this copper one here. So was the creepy doll thing in the beer bottle. Those are both fountain pens, huh? The beer bottle is a fountain pen. Is that a Kier? It's Kirin beer, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Wow, a Kirin fountain pen. I'm not a big fan of Kirin beer, but that would be all right. Most have musical or conical nibs. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you got a couple pilots in there. what is the gray thing right here? I'm assuming this gray marbled one here is it's probably a pilot, but the one just north of it here with the original sticker on it, that doesn't look very pilot-esque. It almost looks like something Sailor would have put out, but maybe just too nice for Sailor. Athena. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Marzen. Yeah. Yeah, right. Very nice. So there it is. That works. Easy slide in, slide out. No pilots, only small makers. Oh, okay. Nice. Very nice. All right. Yeah, I love massive pen storage. There's just something about it that is. You can put zeolite paper on the underside of the drawers to absorb the bad from celluloid. All right. While we're waiting for that, I'm gonna soak the lids on these guys. Yeah, one always runs out of room, don't they? Well, that doesn't want to open, so we're just gonna put the whole. You run the risk of you can sometimes you can get it open by sticking a quarter in there and prying up, but you run the risk of breaking it off. So I might get it to, if you soak it, it will have better luck. I think that's a first. I don't think I've ever had two diplo sets in my ultrasonic at once. All right, let's take a look at our nibs, see what we got for good nibs, what bad nibs. I just pulled these out, so I didn't even look at them. Well, these two on the end have stickers, so I guess I gotta put the right nib in the right pen here. Someday I'll show off one of my smaller pen cases. One of the best birthday presents I ever received. Um, was one year my grandfather, who knew I was into pens, made me a 4-drawer pen case. Yay big, but yay. 4 drawers. Velvet, he lined them with red felt. I think they're red. You know, I mean, I didn't ask for it. I knew he was a woodworker and he would, tinker around in the shop and he'd make crafts for my mom and my grandma and things like that. But yeah, one year for my birthday, he gave me a pen chest for my birthday. It was completely didn't ask for it. Greatest present ever. Give me just a second here. I think I might have gotten a package. My Alexa went off. She went off. I wanted to make sure it wasn't. Lisa's not home yet. Lisa went uh, get some groceries or something. I don't remember what she said she was going to do. But I wanted to make sure if it came out that I would get the it can't be as exciting as the packs that arrived this morning. No, it can't. Things will change. Things will change the minute they start selling. I just know it. I like to consider that I have vision, although sometimes I just think I have visions. That's maybe a more appropriate way of putting it. But I got to get rid of them somehow. Some visions are nightmares. Well, you know, when they're desk sets, yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. Best craft organizer people typically do their biggest discount over the holiday season, like 15%. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I remember the light at the end of the tunnel. Could be a train coming right at you. Yeah. I've seen that light. I saw it for a long time. We got two different kinds of dipless pens here. Just slightly different in the way the end tapers in here. And this one goes pretty much all the way back. And this one only goes that far. This is the model that somebody once on eBay listed it as an Esterbrook eyedropper. When I hear those two words together, I think, holy cow, I need to buy that. Not the case on this. I'm just going to drop this in the water. It's just not getting. Yeah, it's a real rare piece. Well, so this has got a 1551 nib sticker on it, but I don't have a 1551 nib. Anyone know which converter fits a Y Studio? The answer is not Schmidt K. Which Y Studio? Your best bet might be to contact Kenro Industries. If a Schmidt K5 is not working, because that would have been my recommendation. But it might be dependent on, it might actually be dependent on the actual fountain pen that you have. If it's the classic, oh, here you go. Except for the resin. Which has probably got a smaller barrel, if I'm not mistaken. It's probably thinner. Yeah, it's resin. Okay. So what you can probably do is, what I would do is I would try contacting Kenro Industries. If you don't have the address. Let me see what they say here. Give them a contract. You know, they may even, who knows? Maybe they'll send you one for free. I don't know. They're usually pretty easy to work with, so. Did you get the pen from a retailer, or did you get it secondhand? Oh, that's much better. Much better. Or if you don't have the, or if you have the converter, but it just doesn't fit, then that's another problem altogether. It might be that nipple has broken, which I have seen before. So if that's the case, definitely contact them. If that's the case, you may have to send it back, but they should take care of you. Although K1's not all that much different from a K5, except for that band, which could be enough to make it not fit. All right. Got to look at these imprints closely because they did make these M2s in other countries. And while I'm pretty sure I looked over all these imprints, I'm going to do it again because I once found a Canadian made. When your shop opens, will all vintage pens have been tested by you? Yes. Every single one. Nothing goes out unless I test it. And then usually what I do is test the pen after it's been ordered to make sure there's nothing funky about it. Everything gets checked basically more than once. And most of them have been repaired here on Twitch, so you've watched me repair them. And that's why I do the writing sample. You got the email today, right? McPenthusiast? Please tell me you did. Oh, okay, okay. Good, good. I'm paranoid because I've had a bad streak in the last couple of months of some of my emails not getting through to people. And I mean, you don't know if people are busy or they didn't get your email or they're on vacation or what have you. And I don't want to appear. Ta-ta for now. All right, Vlad. Have a great weekend. You don't want to be and then you forget. Like I was trying to get a hold of somebody at Sailor, and I don't know if they were on vacation or what the deal is, but and then I forget about it. I'm like, oh, well. You don't have to be silent too much longer. Somebody is bound to get the email on Tuesday and post about it somewhere on social media. The goal was originally going to be to try to get to Friday without people knowing what the name is, but there's no way to do that because I have to give you the address to get to the YouTube page. So, at this point, it doesn't matter. We just got to get to Tuesday. That would be nice. I just didn't want the whole world to know what it is, and then like try to go to the site and then there's nothing there. It's because it's been in maintenance mode, and it's gonna, I'm gonna turn it back into maintenance mode as soon as everybody is done looking around. Um, so I can fix some other things and do what needs to be done. But it might be funny if Google actually indexes some of the pages and somebody finds it that isn't one of the 6 people I gave the address to. You got the email, wanted all the site easy. Great, great, thank you. It should seem relatively familiar to most people. I tried to use the same platform. I use same plugins. I did a lot of things differently, but you can't copyright a website design. So I like this one. This one's nice. You thought you found, yeah, and you sent a couple extra emails too, so I'm gonna take a look at those tonight or tomorrow. I didn't want to put a no follow in. I thought about it. Am I gonna trademark the logo and the name? Um, I haven't thought about it. Google Index is pretty quick now, so heads up. Yeah. I don't have, there's not a lot of modern stuff. I mean, I guess if somebody finds the website, they find the website. I mean, there's nothing up there that's not for sale. So as soon as everybody gets back to me and says, we've looked around. If you wanted to buy something, you bought it. If not, no big deal. Thanks for testing it out. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna put it back in maintenance mode. So, but yeah, I suppose I should do a search later today and see if I've already hit the index. But like I don't have my Lamy order in yet. So, someone looking for a Lamy Safari is not gonna find me. Familiar couple of years, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a couple of days, yeah. So I mean, I originally wanted to do it like Tuesday or Wednesday, but I was also kind of thinking, well, maybe there's going to be more problems than there is, but I kind of sorted through a couple of those early on. I mean, if I can put it back into maintenance mode, I probably will. I don't think there's going to be too much of a. You can absolutely click complete order. I'll ship it. I just have, like I said, I've got some products without images, and I would like to be able to officially launch with all of that stuff in place. But yeah, if you click complete order, I'll put it together. It will probably go out tomorrow, Monday at the very very latest. Wow, this nib. I was questionable on this nib. It's a 1554. It looks rough. Um, it needs a little polish. I don't normally like 1554s, but I'm just going to get the edges. It's really. Really a nice. Crisp extra fine. You get a K1? Okay, yeah, cool. Well, see, the other thing is too is I have, yeah, they're all stiff. Yeah, they're stiff. There's only a couple that are marked flexible, and they're really more soft than anything. Um, yeah, I've got my converters over at my warehouse space, which we've got a plan for how that's going to work out. So I get to try that out now. So thanks. Just the sheer act of being able to pick and pull orders and. Yeah, most of them are labeled as firm, and then there's also, but with not to be confused with rigid. Um, this would have been considered a firm fine actually, and in some cases it was actually a Greg nib. So you couldn't, you know, most people are familiar with the 1555 Greg, but there actually is a variant called 1554 Greg. Wasn't used very long. But then they had rigid or manifold, which is a different thing altogether. Your 9460, 9461. It's a nice nib. It's got a little bit of kind of silky feedback to it. I think we can, my little piece of, come on. I think we can tune it out. I can find my red square, we'll be in good shape, but if not, well. Where are they? Yeah, it's just going to the right. Just going to the right. Where did it go? Found all sorts of things over here that I've lost, but not what I'm looking for. Hmm. Yeah, lost it. Well, that's frustrating. Oh, wait, I know where it is. Clean desk is a sign of a sick mind. There we go. I think it's sharp just on the inside left tine. We'll do it. What does everybody got cooking for the weekend? Any cool plans for anybody? Nothing new? Oh, nothing now. Yeah. You just need to get better, buddy. Sorry, Lisa just came in. We got to go. She's making chocolate pudding pie. I got to get out of here.
It'll take an hour. We've got tons of time.
I don't have tons of time.
Yes, you do.
I don't have. I gotta go.
No,
I'm sorry, guys. We're not gonna finish this. There's pudding pie being made. Bye. Leave all of us losers. My time. Well, the thing is, um, um, yeah, don't drink any. Spoon's not gonna lick. It's right. I know, right? So she thoughtfully was gonna decided she was gonna make some about a week or so ago, and the recipe of course calls for milk, and we didn't have milk, but she uses creamer for her coffee, and she used creamer, and the pudding never solidified, even after being in the fridge for like 2 days, and so it was just like yeah, that's not gonna work. So she felt bad, so I completely forgot about it. And so she was what did I do with I'm losing my mind here. Oh, this one. This is I guess it doesn't matter which barrel goes with which here. So she felt bad about it, so apparently she just got more pudding, and I completely forgot. But you know. Pudding. Yeah, it's gonna be an hour. So by the time we're done with dinner, that's dessert. So you're gonna consume some ink this weekend? Lisa got it. We went to the Barnes and Noble yesterday, and Lisa got this really cool book's a weird term for it, but it was like a book that had all this paper in it that you can tear out. It's perforated, and then there were some postcards. There were like gift tags, and all sorts of different things that you could use. Oof, that is not good. Um, really, really cute paper. I don't know how fountain pen friendly it is, but if you ever wanted something nice, I don't remember how much it cost. It wasn't much. That is an extra fine. Oh my god. I like a little feedback on an extra fine nib because other words it doesn't. What's the Esteric nib number that is so rare? I think it was one version of a fine. Well, I mean, there's a number of them, right? So the italics, the 2312 and the 9312 italics are really pretty scarce. Um, I think probably one of the rarest is the 1314, which is a stub that was only made for like a couple of years, very early on, flat feed only. It's actually listed as a flexible stub, which does not follow through to what was later became the 2314 fine medium broad, 9314 fine medium broad. Usually you find the 1314s and they're cracked, almost always. There was one in that group of 500 pens that we just bought. And for the life of me, I don't remember which pen it was in. So it's going to be a real, yeah, it was a 1314. Yeah. It's going to be a real treat to try to find that nib now because I don't remember what pen it was in. Because I was, I saw it and I got my 1314. It's got to be broken in some way. I mean, it still could be, but it looked clean. I think that's probably the rarest usable. There's also the 8440 sunburst super extra fine. that came in its own, has its own special packaging. It was about like this big for one nib. It was ridiculous. And it was in this plastic housing with a plastic slide over the top. And it's often, as age, it gets brittle. So opening it up is just dangerous if you get one. But yeah, 8440 super fine, as what they called it. That's pretty rare. And it's a two-tone nib, and usually the gold is, if it's used, the gold is portion is usually washed off. Um, that one's pretty rare too. Kind of on a, if you want to rate rarity and tiers, or just talk about early nibs, the 2460 is a, it's a tough nib to find. It's a really, really tough nib to find. Um, it's just, you never find them in, they didn't make it very long. It's a medium, like a medium manifold. Every one you find is, the tipping is worn off. That one's always on my list of, if you find a 2460 that's in good shape, I'm never going to sell one because you just never find them. Not as desirable. The 8440 wins just on style points and packaging points. Although you could get later on, the 8440 did come in a um, in a regular green box, and yes, green for the 8000 series. But they also made nib boxes that they didn't have any indication on it, and then you could stamp the nib size on the box. So I have a favorite to write with myself. My favorite is actually the 2284, the signature stub. I like it much better than the 9284, only because the 9284, the way they ground it was not, they ground it really flat. So the 2284, when they roll it over, if this is the piece of metal, what they did is they rolled this over, and you're writing, of course you're writing on this part here. It's a nice big section that you're writing in. It's fat. It really feels good. The 9284, they ground it like within an inch of its life. It's almost, and while it's supposed to be tipped, it's almost without tipping. They really ground them really poorly. And it doesn't feel the same as a 2284 does. It doesn't write as nicely. So yeah, that's my favorite, is the 2284. You're home, Indy. All right. I would love to say I like the 9968, but I don't. I think the 2968s may be better on that one too. Gotta go pick up the kid from football practice. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the pot. Yeah, thanks. Hey, and thanks for your help today. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. So this is a 2556, but look how similar it is to this 1550. It's much smoother though. It's maybe a little bit. Yeah, I can see it a little bit. If I press down a little bit more, it gives me a little bit more. 9128. Yes, thank you. I will. I appreciate everything you've done. Really do. I really do. 9128's, it's not a common nib anymore. They're getting harder to find, but they're not uncommon. 9312 is a hard one to find. It's very hard to find. I don't know that they made them very long or that they were very popular for that matter. It could have been a combination of the two. If you really want to go for rare and you like the X312, they made a 3312 in gold plate in England with the imprint going the other way. Good luck finding that one. That one's a toughie. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Little squeaky. Put a little silicone grease on there to quiet that up. Oh, that's the noise of the barrel rubbing against the metal. Of course, the holy grail of all Esterbrook nibs is the 6668. Um, Almost unobtainium. There's only Hans. You have one of those, right? 6668. There's only a few of them in existence. They were prototype. You tried a few times to get one. Oh yeah, yeah. They're going for stupid prices. I mean, when you see them, they're. I mean, and sort of rightly so. We don't know how many they made, but it's less than 10, I'm sure. I think it was Ron Zorn that discovered them. It's kind of like a you were quoted a crazy price. In hindsight, you should have bought it. The fear is a whole bunch come out of the woodwork. Yeah, what was the crazy? Was it like $250 or something stupid like that? You'd buy one for a fair price. 400. Yeah, that's that's a crazy price. Like 250 would be like, you go, okay, yeah, all right. 400 is kind of like I can go to a really nice restaurant around here for that, and still have money left over to buy a pen. I mean, I can go to the best restaurant in town, take Lisa, and I can buy a $150 pen. Two nice restaurants in DC cost about that for two of us. Yeah, yeah, and that's with tip. Buy the $250 nip, and you can still get a great deal. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it reminds me of this is before your time, for sure. But in the very early days, and by early I mean like 2000, probably. Um, there were Esterbrook collectors that went nuts. I kid you not. I kid you not. Um, they about Esterbrook plunger fills. Um, these things were were so uncommon. Now they're not incredibly common pens. Um, you find them. They're probably at least one at every pen show. Most people don't know what they are, right? But and they almost about 50% of the time they work, and the other 50% of the time you can't restore them. So I mean, there is that. Um, Schaefer's Esterbrook's answer to the Schaefer touchdown, essentially. Um, they would sell on eBay regularly, regularly. I mean, I saw bidding wars time after time after time after time again, and I never. Thankfully, it was never me. $150 to $175 a piece. You'd be lucky to get 75 bucks for them nowadays. Yeah, it was time after time after time after time. They'd come up and people go nuts, and then there's like, what is there? 5, 6 colors. So, the whole thing goes nuts when oh, there's a blue one. Oh, there's the light blue one. That's the rarest, Here's the green. Here's the gray. Okay, it's black. All right, I'll only bid 150. I mean, insane, insane. I need a 1551 nib. Let me grab my nibs. So yeah, that is the worry, right? It's sort of like the first year jotter, and Oh, those things were going for stupid prices, and then somebody unearthed like hundreds of them. You remember that? Were you around for that? Drastic, just bubble bursting. Well, we got nothing cooking this weekend, so Lisa's already named the new laptop Big Blue, which I think is funny because it's a MacBook Air, so it's not really big. That comes tomorrow, so I guess there's like an hour or two of setting that thing up, and then that's it for that. There is a pie cooking. Yeah, well, yes, there is. Um, how long that lasts is a whole nother matter, right? Like a good husband, I asked Lisa today. I said, "Well, do you want to?" This was at about maybe 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. I said, "Do you want to watch a movie tonight? You know, it's Friday. Um, maybe we'll watch a movie." And we stopped over at the Total Wine yesterday. We got another bottle of this amazing wine that Hans has recommended to us. Um, his great breakfast food works for lunch. Yeah, you bet. Um, so we got that. I got some beer that Lisa just can't believe I like. But it's really tasty. It's the Kentucky Bourbon Tangerine and Cream Ale. Tangerine Cream Ale is what it's called. And if you've ever had yeah, never say no to pie at dinner. No. If you've never had the Kentucky Bourbon beers, they make three of them that I'm aware of. There is a bourbon, Kentucky Bourbon Ale, which is a little bit chewier, which is really pretty good. And then they also make a cream ale, a vanilla cream, which is excellent. And then the last time I was at uh, Total Wine, I discovered they made a tangerine cream ale, which sounds gross, but was actually amazing. It's just the right amount of tangerine, fruitiness, and creamy. It goes down really well. I highly recommend it. If you've got a place that allows you to buy, one beer, then maybe try it first if you're unsure. But it was really so good. I've got a 6 pack of that sitting in the fridge. But I asked her, I asked Yeah, you should look. You should look it up. It's get a single if you're not sure. But I'm so blown over how good it is. It's just tasty. It's not a flavorless beer. Sometimes you get something it's got some body to it. It's really really good. I think you'll find it if you like anything, and it's not overly fruity. I don't like overly fruity anything. It's like I don't do strawberry shandies; those are just disgusting. But this is just enough to. It's got a little zing, little finish to it. This is a terrible nib after all that. Um, oh, it's bent. Wow. Yeah, we can't have that. And it's what I'm talking about. So I asked about looking for movies at like 10 o'clock. Here we are, 20 minutes to 5. I need to hop on the train now because otherwise it's gonna take 3 hours to find a movie. They don't sell that there. I wonder why. I mean, you're closer to Kentucky than I am, aren't you? Who knows? Weird. Maybe you've got another liquor store or something. Yeah, Wegmans. Oh my God. Yeah, if Wegmans doesn't have it. Well, there's something so nice about writing with a pen with a taper. It's just so elegant. Well, there's really no rinsing out of this one, is there? All right, where's the barrel on this other one? You can chew on the taper while you think. I should slap you for that. Chew on the taper. You did that on purpose. I know you did. Chew on your Parker 51 taper. Yeah, on a vac because they're so common. Don't you wish they did them in like other colors though? Could you imagine like a cocoa desk pen? How great would that be? Or green? Or that teal? Nassau green? Oh man, man. All right, so we got to get in touch with Ariel Kulik. Ariel, but isn't the okay? So here's a question for you. So Nassau green, I mean, isn't part of the beauty of Nassau green in that it's a double jewel 51? So if you had a desk pen that has a taper, it's not going to have a jewel on the end. You bet it would still look nice. Yeah, yeah, it would. It would. With the base in the same color. Ooh. A magnetics trumpet in Nassau. You know, I bet either Ariel or Ricardo could do that. Could do that for you. You have a 51 collector made in that plastic loose in your parts bin. Yeah. It's like I have the closest I have to a mustard 51 are two, count them, two mustard pencils in my parts bin with cracked barrels. So that's about, I'm roughly the same. And mustard's not as nice a color. This is a nice nib on this one. This is a nice pen. So nice. All right, so we got a little bit of time left here. I was so excited when I saw those mustard pencils in a parts bag once. And then I realized why they were there. And not just one crack, like multiples. How much of a mess is this going to make if I do both at one time? My pen club is coming up a week from Sunday, and we are doing the presentation on the salad spinner. So that's going to be fun. There's not much water in these caps, but just in case. Yeah, I think Parker missed a marketing opportunity considering how many different colors of desk pens they made in the 20s and 30s. You wish you had a spare spinner you could use to make another X-ray. Everyone asked me for one at my club at the same time. It's a better DIY project. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would take all that long to hook up. Oh yeah, I'd love to see photos of the big one. Lisa was at oh, where was it? Um, TJ Maxx or Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't remember one of those places. TJ Maxx, I think. They had uh, a whole shelf full of salad spinach. She's like, "Do you need another one?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I mean, I mean, would a bigger one be nicer? Maybe. Do I need one? Not really. This is just fine. Quite happy with what I got. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's. There's only a couple pens I've tried to fit in here that they don't fit, and those pens I bet won't even fit in yours. They're just huge. They're monsters. That one had some ink in it yet. I guess Ron's got one that's actually motorized that he takes to shows. That would be something else. I mean, that's really a Parker Whirl-O-Matic. Whatever. What do they call it? A Whirl-O-Matic? Whirl-O-Clean? Yeah, I know the Parker was motor. I think Ron told me he's got a new one. He's got a motorized one now that he made. Oh, they made a hand operated one too. So this doesn't fit. So oh, look at that. It's probably not going to work real well, but the ink you'll consume this weekend includes a bunch of samples you got from the school company I used to shop from, Anderson something or other. They were all right. I hope you like Bet you didn't know that was a Esterbrook dipless spot when you created it. Do I remember an order of 50 samples on the last day? I remember there were a couple of big orders on the last couple days. Yeah, I do remember. Because I was really nervous every time I pulled one. Um, the We had to manually adjust inventory between our point of sale in store and the website because every integration I tried ever never worked. Well, there was one that worked, and then all of a sudden one day it stopped working, and so like I used to be able to create a product on the website and it would automatically sync and it would show up in my in-store inventory. It was really great. And then that just stopped working. And then, of course, everything else stopped working. But we ended up having to do stuff manually. So um, it really sucked. It really sucked. I wasn't worried about the in-store, if I sold it online and it wasn't available in-store to, that's what it was. You wait until the last minute because you figure those were sunk costs. Yeah, the purchase. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it helped. Yeah, only one was out and had to be adjusted. Yeah, I might remember that order exactly because I remember thinking, and some of those I was like, "You got to be kidding me! I can't believe we had everything." But sometimes it would sell online and in the store at the same time. And tie goes to the person in the store. Unfortunately. Oh man. The funny thing is there's somewhere. I don't know if it's here in town, if it's even in the state of Wisconsin anymore. Somebody has a full banker's box of ink samples. Mm, mm. Holy nuts. All right. Well, we're going to put that back in there. My fingers are never going to be the same. No. So what happened was, yeah, there's a whole banker's box, and I forget the number. I've got it written down somewhere. It ended up, um, being in a storage unit. It was the leftover assets of the company, and the bank took it. So the bank took possession of like some ridiculous number of ink samples. I mean, it was, I mean, and we just literally what we did is we just dumped them in these big, huge. I don't know if they got to be bigger than gallon sized bags, like 2 gallon sized bags, and just like bags and bags and bags of these things until they were crammed into a banker's box No, actually, it wasn't a banker's box. Um, it was bigger than that. It was essentially what they sell the reams of paper in. What is that? 10 reams in a box. One of those things. Um, and you know, I wasn't gonna. There was. I mean, there was some good samples in there, but there was some that were also real dogs, right? So I wasn't gonna. I wasn't. No way was I gonna neatly label and organize this stuff. It just we pulled it off the shelf, we threw it in a bag, and that was it. So I don't know. I don't know where it ended up. No idea. Um, and supposedly the bank was going to sell it. I, I don't remember. My attorney didn't think to write down, or he didn't remember what they told him. They were going to sell some. Apparently, they were going to sell some of the ink to some art company or something. They thought maybe they could sell the ink. I don't think they're going to sell the ink samples. It probably just went in the garbage. Probably what happened. Now, this would please Hans to no end if we were to count these. But we're not going to do that today. It's like we're at 5 o'clock already here. We will take them out and clean them next week so that we can fit those 2 desk pens we just cleaned up in here. But that needs a little polish on that. My fingers really... Imagine the mug who opened the box and says, "What's this nonsense?" Oh, what did I just buy? You're not feeling well enough to truly enjoy me counting them? I might do it just because. Get some of this off. Green must have been one of the most popular colors. It always turns up in these 444s. Just clean this up here, and then that will probably wrap up our day here. Tell you what, when we launch these desk sets, it's going to be massive. This one's kind of in the wrong spot. We won't be able to keep up with the desk set orders, yeah. And won't a glorious day that be, huh? It is also not the day to say, "I told you so." That person wasn't a muggle and knew what a fountain pen ink sample was, they'd probably feel like they hid many. Yeah, I mean, right? I tell you, there weren't many good ones left, though. Some of those were in there were old. They had been around. for a while. Although there was quite a number of sailor left states and things like that. All right, I'm gonna let that soak. This we're gonna let dry. We got those pens done. It is after 5, which means it's time to eat. Do a little writing. Hey, stay blue. There were no Noodlers inks left. Yeah, no. We sold out of those a long time ago. Long time ago. Those were gone. So we got some desk sets to work on next week. Yeah, we should be here on Monday. I don't see a problem with that. So it'll be hopefully Monday through Thursday. Have a great night. Yeah, thanks. I'll enjoy the pie. I hope you can at least get some sleep. I hope you feel better. Take some melatonin or whatever you take to get to sleep. I'm sure you need it. So I'll be thinking of you. Enjoy the pie. Yeah, I can't wait. Right. It was it was kind of disappointing. Like, oh, I made you pie, and then it didn't turn out. So you're like, oh, bummer. Because it looked good. It just didn't look good. Yeah, good sleep. Yeah, get a good sleep. I won't bother you. Um, Either that, or I'll send you pictures of ridiculous pens that will make your heart rate jump or something. I don't know. Anyway, thanks much everyone, and for those folks that were doing some testing today, again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you did place an order, I'm going to get those packaged up probably tonight, early tomorrow morning, and hopefully they should be out to the post office tomorrow. Monday at the very. A picture of pie is almost welcome. Yeah, Monday at the very latest for sure. Depending on what it is, and I do like to, like I say, I do like to test. I do double check most of the vintage pens before they go out, because I remember a lot of them. Oh, I remember that one was I remember the really great ones, and then there's some that I remember that maybe I didn't like as well. It doesn't mean they're not good, but I do check them all, make sure they all work and all that stuff. So vintage pens always take just a few more minutes to get packaged up. So, but anyway, thanks so much, everybody. Have a great evening. Have a fantastic weekend. If you're in a different time zone, have a great afternoon, a great morning, wherever you are. Be kind, be well, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care, everyone. Bye now.